Good evening. Thanks for joining us on A World Awakening tonight. We're having a wicked storm here. I just stepped outside, and so now I'm like a little wind blown. I'm a mess. All right. Um, but that's fun, nature in action. It's always interesting. Tonight I have my dear friend, Rupert Guy, who is, in some ways, has guided me through a very difficult time. And many of you know him. He's a space scientist, really, but also I think of him as so much more than that. And there was a couple of things that I really wanted to share with him tonight. And if you watched Soul School just before this episode of A World Awakening, then you will know that we're basically carrying on the same conversation from a different perspective. And the thing that I found so interesting this week, in the midst of all the tumult that life offers, is that I asked the same question of Jeff and of Rupert. And so I have, as I did with Jeff, a text message back in response to the question. Peanut is stretching and rigor mortis is setting in, apparently. I don't even know what she's doing. But anyway, please bring Rupert on to join us for tonight. You are so kind to do this. I felt really compelled to have you on this week to address these issues. And it might seem so silly, but from this little grain, this one question evolved long conversations and cosmic wisdom that you brought into my life this week. So I just wanted to share with our audience, and then we'll discuss. Again, we have these incredible text streams that, go between us, and the conversations that we have just in our little messages to each other are quite amazing. So anyway, I sent this to you a few days ago. Quick question. Are boredom and peace of mind the same thing? I ask only because I don't think I am capable of feeling either sensation. And you wrote back to me almost immediately and said, in answer to your quick question, no, I don't think they're the same thing. Peace is positive. Boredom is negative. That's exactly what Jeff said. To be at peace is to feel a lack of attack or conflict. When it happens, it feels nice. Boredom is an unpleasant feeling of not receiving sufficient stimulation in life. Boredom is a problem to be fixed. Peace is a beautiful state to be cherished. Do you have any ideas why you don't ever experience either? And I wrote, excellent answer. Having absolutely nothing to do sounds blissful to me. To be able to silence my mind would be an act of mercy. And then you suggested that you help me with meditation. So to achieve. What I wanted to write back to you, I didn't, but I'll say it here and now, is that would be a colossal waste of your valuable time. Because I really don't think that I am I don't even think that I'm capable of feeling a true sense of peace. I don't think, I think that I'm too tapped into and feel too deeply the woes of the world.
Yeah.
And I don't know how to escape that. I don't know how to stop being angry about it. I don't know. I didn't think until just a few years ago in my life that I was even capable of hatred. Now I know that I am. And I'm trying to cleanse that toxin out of me.
Mm.
Um, and, to have discovered that in my late 50s, that I could feel pure, unadulterated hatred um, was very startling to me because I've had reason to hate in my life, good reason. And I never felt that intense or extreme a sensation prior to what, like 58, 59, and through there. Um, and It rather startled me.
Yeah.
Like to be pleasantly surprised that I can attain a consistent, if not consistent, at least a relatively frequent sensation of being at peace. And I just don't know. I mean, to me, I've never felt bored a moment in my life. There's always something to think about. I cannot silence my mind. There's always something to do. God knows I have a list half a mile long of things to accomplish every day, most of which don't get done, by the way, because, got to leave something for tomorrow. Um, and I am deeply, deeply troubled by what's going on in the world, not just in this country, what's going on all over the world. And I had a meltdown last week, and you helped me through it with the Israeli Defense Force shooting and killing more than 120 people with their arms outstretched, trembling and begging for food from a supply truck. And for some reason, they claimed that they felt threatened by the rush of people that were running for food, and they killed them. And it left me so disheartened, so disillusioned, so disgusted, so filled with contempt that I couldn't see my way out of the black hole that I fell down into. Um, and hopeless. It made me feel hopeless.
Yeah.
And Jeff and I didn't even discuss this, but then you told me, and it's in our text, about saving one soul at a time, doing good, doing what we can do of good in the world with whomever we encounter in need. And that same day, my sister Christine and I rescued a cat. And that same day, Jeff rescued a cat. And there was kind of a synchronicity. There was kind of a convergence, a cosmic conspiracy or whatever. The cat that we rescued is now living in a mansion in Buckhead in Atlanta, happily ever after. Already been to the vet, already been neutered, already everything's done, happily ever after. And Jeff has taken in his foundling and absorbed her into their family. So, but both ways, it worked out perfectly. And I feel that you had something to do with that. I can't explain it exactly, but you had something to do. Why? On the same day that we both, I don't know, I can't explain it. But anyway, as a scientist, Jeff's approach to this is uh, more liturgical, more not as it's he bases a lot of what he, as a former minister, speaks a lot in simile and metaphor and parable and all of that regarding religious text. I want your perspective on all of this. The floor is yours.
Thank you. I'm just looking at Peanut behind you, thinking, she's a great teacher to teach anybody how to be peaceful, how to experience peace. You just go and lie next to her on your back, stick your feet up in the air.
Feet up in the air, arms up. Yeah.
Well, it's true that I'm a scientist, but I consider myself to be, on a more foundational level, a logician.
Mm-hmm.
Because the strength of science is that it uses a logical, deductive process to work out what is true. But science is only one area of reality. It's only, and it's very valuable. It has worked out a lot of truths about reality, but it's also, there's a huge amount of reality it hasn't got to yet. I also look at spiritual things, paranormal things, extraterrestrial things in a logical way. So I'm going to try and look at what you're talking about in a logical way. There's a lot of people on this planet, and
8.2 billion.
There you go. I was going to look that up earlier on, but I ran out of time. 8.2 billion people. And you being an empathic person, I think we being an empathic person, we care about most of them, I think.
Yes.
The
vast majority of them, yes.
Yeah. We would like to solve any problems that the world has, that these 8.2 billion people have.
Yeah. I would like to crush the bugs that rule most of these people. I would. Really, just, and you know me, I mean, I save earthworms that float up.
Yeah.
It's pouring here. Tomorrow morning, I will send you a text about how many worms I saved that crawled up into the carport so that they wouldn't drown. And yet, there are actually, well, I don't even know if they qualify as human beings, but yes, there is pestilence on the planet that I would like to rid it of.
Yeah.
Yeah. And most of them are dictators. In fact, pretty much all of them are dictators. There's 63 dictators in this world, 63 of them that rule the vast majority of the people on this planet and oppress them. And they don't know freedom. They don't know freedom. That's got to change. This world will never know peace as long as the so-called strong men are running the show. Just won't.
Given that you care about most people on the planet other than the dictators,
handful,
and you would like you would like to save most people on this planet.
Yes.
And they do need saving. But simple logic tells me you're just one person.
Yeah.
And you can't save everybody. Okay. Now, how do we come to terms with that? How do we accept that? It's a truth. It's a truth. And so we either are going to live our lives feeling pain from that truth, that our preferred goal is to save everybody, but we can't. Or we set ourselves a more realistic goal and put all of our energy and all of our emotion into that. Goals are hard because you either achieve them or you don't. So I'm not so keen on setting myself goals. Like I would like to prevent climate change from happening, global warming. I would like to prevent this person from getting into power. That's like a goal, and I can try and set myself a goal, but I'm just one person. I might fail, and living with failure is not much fun. So what I do is I'm a bit more careful. I'm careful in the way that I use my words. I like to set myself a vision of what perfection would be like. And my vision is universal peace. That means everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Universal peace, universal love, and universal, and we can alternate between the word happiness or well-being, depending on how emotional a being is. Universal peace, universal love, universal happiness. Now, my actions are never going to be able to achieve that. So that's not a goal for me, but it is a vision. And if I set my goal as being working towards that vision, then everything I do that is working towards that vision, I'm achieving my goal. And psychologically, I don't know why, but psychologically, for me at least, that means that I can feel happiness and contentment if I am working towards that vision, even if I know I'm never going to achieve it. Now, you and I are just, you're one person, I'm one person, but we do have a lot of people who listen to us. And so when we try to move in the direction of helping people to achieve universal peace, love, and happiness, we can do far more than just save one cat. Saving one cat in itself is everything to that cat.
Mm-hmm.
And that in itself is reason enough just to be alive, to save that one cat. But you and I have a large reach. People listen to us, and we have, therefore, the potential to save a lot of people. And if people like what we're saying, if people gel or connect or resonate with what we're saying, then that spreads. The light from us can spread. So what I try and do is I try and infuse myself with as much of that universal peace, universal love, universal happiness that I can put within myself, that is practically possible. Because I have to sleep sometimes, and I have to do things to pay my bills. I have to stop what I'm doing and go and eat, and stuff like this. So it's not practically possible. I only have certain resources that I can utilize. I can only do what is practically possible. But while I am working towards what is practically possible, what I can practically do to move as many people who want to follow me in the direction of my vision, then I'm achieving my goal, and I've got peace within me, and I am happy doing that.
I'm so glad one of us is. That's great. That's great. I do have moments of joy, unmitigated joy. That imbecile sleeping right over my shoulder, a big part of it. And yes, they do have so much to teach us about unconditional love. And, animals are so pure of heart, their spirits are so radiant. And when I found her in January of 2020, right here on this road, right in front of the house, and I asked my sister April to please, as a spirit, please bring the puppy to me. Bring the puppy to me. I got to save her, but then she saved me right back. Because like 3 weeks later, COVID. And then I went into complete utter, oh my God, we're all going to die. Millions of people are going to die. This is going to be so awful. And oh my God. And no vaccines on the horizon, nothing except this horrible virus that was going to ravage humanity. Yeah, I was depressed. I was. And she was about the only person that could make me smile. She's just amazing. She does the most ridiculous things. And it's so hysterical that I have to laugh. And that feeling, maybe there's an inkling in that feeling, that deep laughter, that, oh my God, she's hopping like a bunny through the yard. You're a dog, be a dog. Those moments just save me. They do.
Yeah.
I don't understand. I don't refer to my people, my tribe, as my followers, because we're all walking this together. And this is a hell of a journey. And we are all equal in our pursuit of happiness. All of us are. But it's so elusive. And what is it? And what is peace? What is tranquility? What is solace? What is that feeling of complete calm that I attain so infrequently that it just feels like it's just beyond reach, just like the food on the supply truck, just beyond reach. And I have this sense of desperation of wanting to achieve it, to find that sustenance for myself and my family. And it could be that what I related to with that one tragedy out of so many that are happening all around the world, that there was a kind of connection that occurred. That same, I know that feeling of desperation. I know that feeling. And I could relate to that want, that desire. And I was in very dark space. I mean, you kept me from going over the precipice. You did. With one conversation, you did. And I'm so grateful to you. But one thing I do not understand, and I will openly admit this to our listening, our viewers, our listeners, our people, our tribes, our clans. I get told over and over and over again ad infinitum how when I walk into a room, before anybody even sees me, they feel the calm, they feel the peace, they sense a light has come into their space. And the way that I relate with them lifts a burden from them, whatever pain that they are carrying, and just wrapping. You've seen it. You've seen it yourself, just taking someone into that warm embrace, telling them that you believe them, telling them that, they're so important to you, even if you've just met, and meaning it is liberating for so many people and makes them feel accepted and secure and free to tell their stories, that I will listen to and respond to and interact with them, engage in a very meaningful way. And I don't know how I can simultaneously be the beacon and be the light that they seek and live in dark space. How can those two things exist simultaneously?
Yeah.
I'm not there in dark space all the time, but I can't stop what's going on in my mind and how disgruntled and discontent I am with humanity, with the behavior, the self-destruction, not just of the planet, but of our fellow brothers and sisters. Because I think of all of us as star family. I feel, me well, I believe we are them, they are us, we are one. And how can we be so unenlightened as a race, as one human race, that the horrific, degrading, uh, torturous behavior, the self destructive behavior that occurs between people on this planet every day, how does that persist? Where is the end? Is that end utopia? Is that end nirvana? Is that end enlightenment, illumination, complete awareness of our place here and in the cosmos, ascending out of 3D into 4 and 5D and beyond? Is that what it will take? Because if that's what it will take, even if we do it, you and I do it with them, one person at a time, one cat or dog at a time, one soul at a time, how many millions of us would it take doing the exact same thing to make a really tangible difference in the world?
Yeah. Well, there's a couple of different things that I'd like to comment on about what you said. First of all, you are extremely empathic. You feel the pain of others.
Yeah, it's a
You know,
curse. It's a burden.
it is a burden for anybody that feels empathic, who cares about others, who cares about the state of the world and the planet, who sees others suffering and feels that pain. That's hard. You feel that pain, and you feel the appropriate emotions in response to feeling that pain. You do. It's understandable why you feel angry and upset, and you don't hold back from telling people and showing people
No, I
what you're
don't.
feeling. And so when people look at you, they see somebody who is genuine and sincere and real, who what you say, that's what it is. And people therefore relate to you. Yes, you've got some anger, some darkness within you in some respects, but
Yeah,
so does everybody.
yeah.
And when they see you, they're like, well, she's saying what I'm feeling. And I think, but there's no, and I think when people meet you, therefore they relate to you, they feel completely comfortable with you, because they know that unless they're one of those dictators, you're going to love them, you're going to care about them. And so I think that's why there is such peacefulness, such love when you walk into a room. So that's my answer to that point.
I do pre-love all of them before I even walk in the room.
Yeah.
And you know as well as I do that this community that we circulate within, the paranormal community, it's a very big umbrella and it covers a lot of ground. And it's a very eclectic mix of people.
Yeah.
No, but I do, if I prejudge them in any way, it's that I pre-love them just automatically because they exist. Because even if we have nothing else in common, we have the fascination and the curiosity and the desire for more knowledge about what's under our umbrella. And so at least that is something that we can share and talk about, and agree to disagree if we need to, but mostly we're just learning from each other. This happened to you. Oh, really? This happened to me. Oh, really? It's very liberating. I find very liberating when I go to these events around the world now. It's the best part of what I do.
Yeah.
is meeting these people that I might have known online for the last 10 years. But I finally got a chance to meet them at this event or at that
Hmm.
event.
Hmm.
And it's instant connection, even though we've never been any closer than a computer screen. So, but yes, what was your other thought about that too? I got off on a tangent.
That's okay. That's okay. I've got a book here.
Uh-huh. Isaac Asimov. Oh, it's one of my very favorite writers.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
And this book, his foundation book, it's a bestseller. It starts off with the main character, Harry Seldon. He understands, he's worked out that this big galactic empire, which basically is what Star Wars is based on, but this big galactic empire is collapsing. Nobody else can see it, but he can see it. He uses science, he uses psychology, he uses history, he uses mathematics, he uses logic to predict with great precision the collapse of the empire. The reason I'm bringing that up is because we are in that situation now, not literally with an empire, not a galactic empire, but our society, our civilization, human civilization, as we comprehend it, and I apologize if this sounds upsetting to anybody out there, but it's collapsing. This, a couple of 100 years ago, our population started to do this, and it went up to really, really incredibly unnatural numbers, 8.2 billion. It's just about to do that.
Yeah.
And what is going to cause it? We are. Humans are not good enough. We're not peaceful enough. We're not considerate enough. We're not kind enough. We're going to do it to ourselves. Okay. Now, this book starts off with that point in time, but that's not the end of the book.
It's the beginning.
It's the beginning of the story. And there are several other books that follow this, and there are thousands of years that follow this. And the reason I'm bringing this up is because we're only at the start of the story, and we have a tendency, humans being egocentric, thinking from our own limited perspective, we have a tendency to think that this is the time that really matters. But all times matter. And there is more future than there is past. And our future matters. The story that we are moving into matters. And humanity is going to take care of all of those billions of people all doing things that we can't control. That's going to collapse. It's going to be like a biblical flood, but it's going to be climate change.
Mm-hmm.
Climate change is going to cause not just changes in weather, but it's going to completely destabilize the security. People are going to be migrating all over the place. We're going to lose power. We're going to have ridiculously hot places without air conditioning, mass migration, mass death. It's going to be horrible. And I'm sorry for saying that. Now, I told you when we talked the other night that as a scientist, I followed this my whole life, and I've wanted and hoped and tried my hardest to save humanity from this eventuality. But I'm just one person, and it's not going to happen. And human beings are just simply not evolved enough. We are going to
perish.
Well, most are.
Yeah. We are pestilence on the planet. I have been saying it for decades before anyone knew who I was, before anyone was really listening. I have been saying literally since my childhood, we are pestilence on the planet. We will destroy ourselves because we are too stupid to live.
Yeah. But there is a but to this, because that's not a very uplifting message.
No, it's really
But I feel happy with what I'm doing, and let me tell you why. Because the rest of the story is good. the rest of the story is inspiring. And I am working towards what happens in the rest of the story. And in my story, I have friends who are both human and non-human, who are beings of light. And they are helping me and supporting me to strengthen what is to come. And we are bringing the most beautiful people in the world, spiritually and morally, together.
Yeah, we are doing that.
And you're on the team, and you know we have a lot of people coming in, and we are being helped by non-human entities.
Oh yeah, I got my little friends too.
Yeah,
It's nice that we're starting to share them.
yeah, yeah.
I think I called you once. You were on a road trip. I'm like, stop what you're doing and look at due north. Look, due north.
Look up there, and I got a big streak of light in a completely dark and cloudy sky where you couldn't see the stars at all.
Mm-hmm.
And what I get is the big electromagnetically caused twitching in my left eyebrow, which is their presence. They are helping us to. They are supporting people who are capable of saving themselves. They're supporting people who are not contributing to the problem. They're supporting people who, on the other side of the crises that we're facing, are going to be the kind of people they want in their interstellar communities. And through astral projection and remote viewing, we can see the future, and we're working with them. They're on the ground. They're on the ground around this house where I'm presently living on the mountain here. We are working together to create the next chapter in human history. And that is going to be beautiful, because that is when we start to evolve. That is when we evolve. Well, some people are already evolving there, but that is where
many actually, many.
yes. And it's not just over hundreds and thousands of years natural evolution by natural selection.
No, this is much more of a sudden illumination.
Yes.
This has
Yes.
happened over the course of the last 30 or 40 years.
Yes.
And I would say most especially since, the end of the Piscean calendar. I mean, the Mayan calendar, the end of the Piscean age, according to their calculations, and the beginning of the age of Aquarius, which was in 2012, in December of 2012. And nothing will ever be the same again. I refer to it as the paradigm shift, and we are squarely in the middle of it. I mean, we are in the middle of the very, very beginning of it. And yes, your metaphor of a flood, the water bearer, is here. Aquarius is here, and this is our we have to ride that wave into the fifth dimension. That's where we have to go. And maybe 9 out of 10 people won't even get that, won't even in any way consciously or even unconsciously resonate with probably 9 out of 10 people. But it's the 1 in 10 that goes, I have felt that way my whole life. And she or he or whomever finally put it into words. And oh my God, this all makes sense. And it's those moments, those little epiphanies that occur that change people's minds. And it can happen in an instant, as fast as life, as fast as death can visit life. in a split second, it can be over. There is a question for Rupert in chat. Yes, Bill, honey, please put that up. Okay, Southern born. Oh, I'm in Georgia. Oh, a question for Rupert. I'm deeply afraid of AI, and the information put forth says it's not. Will it come? But when? What is your view on AI?
It's a good question. I don't think we're quite going to get to the point where AI is a problem. I think we will. I think climate change is going to is going to is going to cause this collapse before artificial intelligence does. I think if we were to continue in the direction we're doing, then artificial intelligence could very well become real intelligence, real sentient, conscious, Terminator kind of intelligence. And then, yes, I think we'd face that problem. But I don't think we're quite going to get there. I think climate change is going to beat us. Climate change is already here. It's already big. It's already affecting people all around the planet. And I think that most people who are listening to this conversation are going to be alive to see climate change cause the big collapse.
Yeah, the ramifications of it will be visible to all.
Yeah.
What I'm hoping is that AI can help us solve the climate change dilemma. Now, I mean, how long have we been using fossil fuels on this planet? 150 years? The blink of an eye? The blink of an eye of the existence of, it might actually be longer than that. I'd have to Google it on the little Google machine. This is my Google machine. I don't really have time right now, but not long. Let's say not long since we've been just decimating our planet and basically suffocating it with what we're putting up into the atmosphere. Every time I see, another ship on fire in the Red Sea or the Suez Canal or, the Gulf of Odessa, everything forests that are burning. Texas is all North Texas is on fire. The damage that it's doing to this planet almost wiped out koalas a few years ago in Australia. Just these few examples. And then you couple that with Fukushima Daiichi, let's never forget Chernobyl, and now the largest nuclear power plant in Europe is under siege and under control by the Russians in Ukraine. I'd say we're screwed. And get your iodine tablets now, folks, because gonna have to adjust to some radiation, I'm afraid. And yes, I am terrified for the future of humanity, given what our current course is.
Yeah.
But wouldn't it be amazing? Oh, Jeff's here. Hi, sweetheart. Are you listening to this? Are you even listening to this?
I have been doing my best. There was some stuff going on, but I wanted to,
Okay, good. Yes. No, I'm telling Rupert that I think that it would be poetic justice if AI was smarter than we were and could solve our climate crisis for us. Something that we created can solve. It's a thing. So anyway, Jeff has joined us. I said, hop in if you have anything to ask Rupert. So have at it, guys.
Hey, well, yeah, I'm sorry. I didn't really get the whole gist of the conversation tonight. I was waiting for my daughter to get home, but I wanted to try to jump on at least for a little bit here to see what was going on. So I don't know that I have much to contribute because I didn't hear the flow of the conversation, but I wanted to just hop in and.
Well, thank you Thank you for being here, Jeff. I'm going to tell you what I'm going to, because I always like to leave people with hope and a positive message, and maybe you can comment on this after I've proposed it. But I think, if people are feeling down and worried about the state of the world, then there's a sequence of things that they should do in order to get over that negative feeling that they have inside themselves. One is to learn as much as they can about the problem. With climate change, go out and learn about the science of climate change. With whatever the problem is that you're worried about, learn as much as you can about it. Then make sure, the second stage is to make sure that you're not contributing to the problem. Because a lot of good people out there are unwittingly contributing to the problem. Now, with climate change, that's pretty straightforward. You can find out what it is you're doing in your lifestyles that are causing climate change, that are producing these greenhouse gases. But with hostilities around the world, how are people contributing to that? Any hostility at all is contributing to the overall hostility of the planet.
Yeah, perpetual conflict.
Yes, this perpetual cycle of non-ending conflict. There's always somebody that starts the conflict, but then most of the conflict is from people who then respond back and respond to that, and it goes backwards and forwards for hundreds of thousands of years. So I recommend that people just stop responding to negativity with conflict. Only try and overpower darkness with light.
There you go.
And the third thing I suggest, join my Facebook group, Galactic Wisdom, because that's where I do a lot of talking. What do you think, Jeff?
No, I mean, I think that's excellent advice. And at the end of our, pardon me, I feel like I have a sneeze coming on here. I'm trying to stifle it. Yeah, at the end of Soul School, we were talking about the imagery, the metaphorical imagery of the Garden of Eden, and one of the things where we left off was on the note of the esoteric interpretation of some words from Saint Paul, which were, "Be excellent at what is good, be innocent concerning evil, and the God of peace manifests as that which crushes the adversary beneath the feet of the one carrying that sort of peace," which I think ties in an esoteric sense with what you just said, that the best we can really do is to be those who have been, I'm sorry?
The best that we can really do is to do our best.
That's it. And the best we can do is, we've all been exposed to evil. We've all been exposed to suffering. We've all been exposed to the state of the world as it is. We can't undo that. It has happened, right? You can't go back. You can't take it back. You can't control a backspace and delete your exposure to the harsh realities of the world. We've all been there, done that, got the t-shirt, the PTSD, and the mental scars to prove it. Yeah. What we can do is we can be conscious of it, but not be made evil by the evil we've been made conscious of. So that's the innocence concerning evil, and then be excellent at what is good. And what happens is there is a sense of peace that manifests in one's life as a sort of egregoric structure, which Paul calls the God of peace in that particular passage. And what we're able to do and accomplish through that is tread on that which would otherwise tread upon us. And so, yeah, learn as much as you can about that which is the threat, and you decompose it down to its constituent parts, and it's not as much of a threat. That's the knowing the evil, but being innocent concerning it, and then do everything you can to put your hand to the plow and do whatever good you can. And I mean, that's as good as we can do in this reality. That's almost as good as we can do. And that every night as I go to bed, as I said in our last show, is every night when I go to bed, I know the things that I've been exposed to and that I've suffered in my life, but I can go to bed each night knowing that I have done my best in the last several hours that I was awake and conscious to transfer that suffering into some kind of service to humanity. I can't take back the fact that I suffered. I can't take back the fact that I saw and was exposed to things I would have rather not been exposed to, but I can alchemize and transfer that into some sort of service towards humanity. And that is peace, as far as I'm concerned, because I can sleep with a good conscience. And that is the micro that can become the macro when we all sort of, yeah. Anyways, I'm sorry.
I think
Those are my
that
thoughts on that.
having both of you, and I don't really think of them as alternate perspectives. You know, I often say thoughts are things. Rupert, you and I have talked about this a lot as well, that when we project out through our thoughts what we want this world to be like, I think we all want the same thing. We want love, kindness, hope, peace, some modicum of security, that our offspring have maybe a better chance than we did. We know to go to bed every night knowing that we did our best. I was telling Rupert earlier in the show that we both saved a cat on the same day that Rupert said, when I told him about this stray in the yard, that we were going to try to save it. And he's like, save one soul at a time. And
Yep.
then later that day, you let me know that you had saved a cat.
I was just sitting on the couch with it. It's now part of our family.
Like I said, and mine is lounging in a mansion in Buckhead in Atlanta. We hardly have any time left tonight, but I do want both of you to know, I close this show every week with a reminder to our viewers to be the light that you seek, to project out into the world your best intentions, your best hopes, your best thoughts of how you want the world to be, and then work every day to make a difference in a positive way, even if it's just the littlest thing. It's an accumulation of good works, I think, that ultimately will begin to show itself in terms of the transformation of our society. And there's always AI to do it for us. But both of you, through a particularly difficult time for me, have been there to grab me from the back of the neck and pull me off the precipice, the chasm below. And both of you did that for me this week. And I love you both so much. You mean the world to me, and I'm so happy to be able to share both of you with my tribe, my clan, my group. It is my privilege and my pleasure to have both of you in my life. And so with that, as we close out the show, I will again remind everyone, just think about this. Let your consciousness expand, thinking about this subject. Where is your peace? I think that Gandhi was absolutely right, that we need to be the change that we wish to see in the world. We need to each be the beacon, and each and every one of us be the light you seek. I love you. Have a wonderful weekend, and we'll see you again next week on World Awakening. Good night, everyone.